Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. In today's episode, we have got a whole load of bits that we've added to the 130. But the best bit of news is we've got a new project vehicle. Watch until the end of the video. I'll show you what that's all about, and you can see how excited I am to get stuck into that. It's going to be a 10-day build, and you're going to love it. Right, I'm going to start to try and work out where I'm going to put my spare wheel. And I was tempted to put it on the front, but we've already got a lot of weight on the front of the vehicle, what with the winch and the winch bumper. So I'm going to draw around our wheel just because it's really heavy. And I'm just sort of moving it around to try and look where it might go. So I think the right place to put the wheel is going to be on the back. It's where it was originally, and it makes sense. So that is the size of our wheel. Did quite like the idea that if I took the gas struts off this, I could flip this right up and flush. But with the spare wheel in place, I can't. So we'll have to forego that idea. However, we have got a marked Mantek steering wheel carrier. It's been dropped and it's got a big scuff, so we can't sell it as new. And I'm wondering if I can use that to try and implement a movable wheel carrier somewhere. Now obviously the strength we've got in this vehicle is this metal frame. So there's this steel box section frame, goes up there, across there, across the top, just underneath that capping. Hinged on the side so that it will come open here. And the reason I like that is because I might actually make a shower fitting on it as well. You know, like a bag that hangs on the spare wheel carrier. So, you know, if you want to have a shower, or you want to rinse something off, you can swing that out and it gives you even more space. Here's our spare wheel, here's our spare wheel carrier. If you want to get it to sit. If we sit it right in the middle of that top piece there, one bracket there, that should be alright. We'd be in such luck. Oh my god, it's perfect. So both of those mounting points, look, are on the box section. That's brilliant. Okay, well it's going to sit super high though. Look how high that's going to be there. Is that going to look stupid? Because originally we wanted it down there, didn't we? Now I'm doing all of this, and actually I could simply mount this on here. I could mount it there and run a strengthening beam inside behind that, or I could run two metal box sections there and mount it there. I just think that might be better, you know. It's a really tricky one. I want to use a swing away, but is there any point? This is so much lighter, and there's no point adding weights for the sake of it. If I felt that was a real good use of its ability to swing out, I'd consider it, but at the moment I can't see it. I think that might have to be our final option. Right, I think I've made a decision. So that is really where I want the wheel to be, which means we're going to have to use the old school fixed mount. But the thing is, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix the bracket onto this board without the wheel on, obviously, and then in the back I can actually install two support brackets. I'm going to use this box section, and I'm actually going to cut a section out there. So I've got a face there I can bolt and weld. I'll bolt it now, but I'll weld it eventually onto the inside of those support box sections. So two of those running on the inside. That will also protect it from rusting because it's just a piece of mild steel, but I get that inside. So I'm going to measure up now. What I'll do is I'll put that on first, then I'll know where the holes are and everything. We'll get it all bolted in. So I think that is the best solution. Right, I'm pretty happy with that. So that is our overhang that's going to be bolted and welded onto our box section inside. So we're in. That is flush. That's nice. Okay, so we'll have two of those basically, and we'll get them welded on at the bottom here. I'll bolt them through, probably with a riv nut first, and then I'll weld them at a later date. I could take the bottom edge off that one actually a little bit. There we go. So we've got our 2 braces now in place. I've just used some tech screws to get them into position. Everything's got to come apart again because it's all going to be painted and rust proofed. I'm going to drill through the bracket now into those 2 beams, and then I think we're okay to paint them and get them fitted permanently. So you know what they say, work smarter, not harder. It's -1 today, so just giving that a bit of a cooking, and then we'll do some black paint on there, spin them round, good to go. Well, I think we're all done. Just letting the heat gun do its thing, get those baked off, if you will, and then we'll get that all offered up and on the vehicle. Should look really good. Do you know what? I am really happy with that. So the bolts I've used are quite long, but they're stainless, and they're stainless nuts as well, so they should be fine on there, but I wanted to make sure they went through enough. So that's all sandwiched. It's absolutely rock solid. Now I will be replacing one of these, I think, with a locking wheel nut. Once I've got the wheels painted on the outside, then we'll get all of them locked up. But I think if you look at that little line just up there, if I wanted to, I could put another one next to it. That is going to be a bit awkward because I've got to be a bit more accurate with my measuring to make sure they sit at the same height. But we could carry 2, but I'm super pleased with that. Well, I'm really happy with the mirrors. I went for the heated mirrors because I suddenly had a moment of clarity where I thought those 2 holes, which normally get bunged up on the bulkhead, could be used perfectly for threading through the wires for the heated mirrors. So why not? It's just another switch. We've got heated mirrors. We will possibly put a heated screen in here as well. If we plan on doing a colder climate trip, I think that's something we would do. So we've got to that point in the build now where we're starting to look at what we can actually fit to the vehicle and where it goes for best use. I don't want to jump into it too quick because I think I need to live with the vehicle for a bit, you know, to get an idea of where I want everything to be. But one of the things I've been looking at are these containers from Terra Firma. These are called Terra cans, and they come in black and red, and you've got loads of different sizes. So just over 7 litres in this one. And then on here, we've got just over 11 litres. And then this one, we've got just under 19 litres. So, I guess what we're going to be carrying is water and diesel. Not quite sure the legal standpoint we have on mounting fuel cans on the outside of the vehicle. I know we can do it, especially if it's diesel, but my concern is how far out are we allowed to actually mount something on? I think it's the same width as the wing mirror. So as long as you don't protrude any further than the wing mirror on your vehicle, you can mount something, you know, a little bit like those cubby boxes you get on the new Defenders. So my thoughts were, this is where we're going to do all the cooking. I was going to use this little thin one here and actually get it mounted on the side somewhere, because I think that would give us good access to the water when we're cooking, just be nice and easy. So it's probably going to be mounted there. It's far enough away from the exhaust, but also it's in a nice good position, doesn't get in the way when I'm opening the kitchen unit. As far as this bad boy goes, this actually looks great on the back. Now I'll explain a little bit about the mounting in a minute. They've got a quick release mount, which is great, but I could actually get 2 of these on the back here. Now that would mean we can't have a little window, which we did talk about having. So if I just fit one, that's only going to give us another 11 litres of fuel. That's not really enough. So if I don't have this one, or 2 of these, you can see how light they are, can't you? We could go for one of these taller ones, look, on the side here. I think that is probably the answer. So mount it flush with the side of the bodywork there. Has 2 mounts where those triangles are, and we can have our diesel in there. And it also gives us the opportunity to have a window there or another fuel can, depending on what we want. But that, I think, is probably what we're going to do. So let me just show you a little bit about the mounting hardware. They each come with these little triangular mounting points. So you mount this onto your body. It comes with all the hardware you need. And then on top of that, you've then got a lockable locator that basically screws into there, and the key prevents you from unscrewing it. So it's a screw release, if you like, so it's not particularly quick, but it is fairly secure. So obviously we're going on the back here. We would have two mounted here and here. The other thing I like about this is if I have two mounted here and here, I can just put the smaller one at the top, depending on where we're going, what we're doing, the legality of the country we're in, but also what works best for us. I've got two stacked on top of each other next to the single one, and what that means is it's modular. There you go, that's the word I'm looking for. Because if I don't want to have the really big one on, I can just have two smaller ones. I can have one diesel, one water, two diesel, and it's all, you know, can be moved around. I can even have that one as water. Obviously, you can't switch once you've made a decision whether you've got water in them or diesel, but if we get enough of them, we've got a really good selection. So that's really what I'm going to be doing in the next episode, is getting all those containers mounted. We're also going to be looking at some Osram lights. I'll show you that in just a second. But really, it's just getting everything mounted onto the vehicle that we know where we want it. If we know where we want it, we can get it mounted. But I have also been really busy on the inside. Let me show you that. So you can see here, the first Osram light I fitted is this mini strip light. It's a dual light, so it's got a flood and a spot. And that is for driving, and also hopefully for being able to use and help us use the winch in the dark. But Osram have given us a whole load of stuff here to try out. We're going to see what works, where and how and when. We've got things like floodlights, reverse lights, work lights, driving lamps, spotlights, everything. So we're going to really spend a bit of time going through all of those, trying them out with a battery source, see what they're like in the dark, and make a decision on what we're going for. But that is going to be twinned with another one over there. And then we're going to start looking at mounting points on the front of the vehicle, on the side, and on the back. Right, we're in widescreen mode because it's a bit tight in here. Now, we haven't got our ladder sorted out yet, but I've found something which I think is going to be perfect. Something different, and I'm going to show you that again in another episode. But as we climb into our vehicle, we climb into the camper now, you can see we've got the heater mounted, the heater, space heater in there, all rigged up and plumbed in. So I've plumbed it through the wall where the aluminium, so the aluminium outer skin on the lower section of the rapier is the best place, and you can just see down there we've just got a single little join connecting it up. Now I've hard mounted it because obviously I don't want it to move to crack that seal on the exhaust. That would be devastating. We don't want that. And I've also drilled a nice big hole in the back here where it can suck air from outside, because this is going to be boxed off. I've got a rain cover that's going to go on the back so no water can get into that hole, but it will draw clean air, obviously combust, heat, and it all comes out of here. And we tested it yesterday. There was no leaks, there was no smell, and it just filled the cabin with heat so quickly. It's just crazy. So really pleased with that. But like I say, I've had to hard mount it. Now, I've come across these little mounts from Terra Firma as well, which seem to be really, really useful for our application. So you buy this as a kit, there's 4 of them, and you get the sort of lashing straps and a ratchet strap all with it. So it's like a one-stop shop solution. And I'm actually going to be using, even though I've screwed it to the floor there, I'm going to be using some of these as well, because I think it needs to be mounted really permanently. But I'm going to use those over here on our power pack. Now, I think this is where the power pack's going to go, but I'm not going to mount it just yet because I'm not sure where everything's going to fit once we've got the seating, and that is really what's holding us up on this build. So the seating was supposed to be here by now. I'm not quite sure what's happening. I have tried to email them a couple of times, but I'm getting no response. I got one response before Christmas saying they'd had to make some changes to the frame, but since then nothing. So I think we have paid for it, so fingers crossed it's going to arrive pretty soon. But once that's in place, we can then start working out the interior. So I don't want to make any full commitments apart from that heater. I'm not sure about the power pack, but I like the way it's all set out. I like the way it's working, and I'm really pleased that I found these little brackets, because again, you don't want that big heavy battery pack flying about in the camper when you're off-road, or if you have an incident. You don't want it sort of, it's a big lump. It'll kill you basically if it hits in your back of the head, as with a can of Coke apparently if you're going fast enough. So just watch what you've got loose in the back of your vehicle. But these mounts will make sure that that stays secure on the floor. So really pleased. And if I'm honest, the layout is really coming together. So you can see we've got our 2 support beams there. They're looking nice and fresh, all painted up. And we've just really got the trim, but like I said before, what's holding us back is not having our bench seat in yet. We need that to get everything finished off in here, which leads me to the next point. We've reached the stage on this build where I can't really move any further forward until we get the rock and roll bed in. That's really the key element now to get everything finished. Yes, we've got some lights we can fit on the outside, and that is going to be an episode that I'm going to be going into probably in the next month. But we have got a brand new project. It's really exciting. It's something very different. Let me tell you a little bit about it now. So I'm going to be working with some friends of mine just on the same estate here, and they've got a 90 in their body shop that's been there for about 10 years. It's an abandoned project that they started a long time ago. So quite a lot of work has been done. It's had all the suspension changed, it's been undersealed, it's been treated, the chassis has been welded, and it's just been stripped and left. And you can see here the condition it's in after being left in a body shop full of dust for the last 10 years. It is a mess. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to spend 10 days, that's 10 working days, 2 weeks, to get this Defender 90 on the road MOT'd from the state it's in now. So it's a bit of a challenge. I think it'll be quite exciting. It's going to be a budget build. We're going to go through all the parts that are lying in the back of this thing and have a look and see what's usable. Then we're going to do a list of what we're going to need to buy to get it to go and run. Then we'll start putting it all back together again. Now I'm going to put it all back together, and once it's done, the guys are then going to do a full respray on it, and it should look really good. But we're getting it to the point in 10 days where they can respray it after it's had its MOT. So we will get an MOT before it gets its respray. So that is going to be quite an exciting project. That's going to keep us going on the channel for about another month. Something completely different, something new, just in case you're getting a bit bored of the camper, which I don't know how you could be, but if you are, brand new project. So that's going to start next week. And we will dive in probably with a few smaller videos with some products that we've got coming through as well, which I really want to show you guys, and also doing little jobs around the camper like connecting up the winch, doing the lighting, a little bit of wiring, but nothing too major until that seat arrives. So that's it. We've got a lot going on. It's great for the start for the new year. Really looking forward to it. So if you've enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you on the next one.